All right, news right now at this hour, CHP in pursuit of a vehicle here. Rich Prickett up in Sky 5 High.
Hi, Lou. Yeah, very erratic driving pursuit here. This, you can see this silver pickup that just exited the westbound side of the 60 freeway, now on Diamond Bar Boulevard. It would appear that there's one person, at least one person in the truck, and something else that may be in there with the driver, possibly an animal. We saw him. It seemed to be kind of wrestling with something within the vehicle. The car was swerving out of control, and then all of a sudden exited here at Diamond Bar Boulevard. You can see these erratic, the way he's swerving here as he makes his way up Diamond Bar Boulevard. I see one black and white unit directly behind him. I'm not entirely sure if that's CHP just yet. It would appear that it is CHP that's directly behind him. There's also a helicopter up above. We're trying to find out exactly where this pursuit began. We're hearing over the radio traffic that this suspect is wanted for vandalism. At least vandalism at this point here. You can see we'll try and get in a little tighter here to look at the driver, but it looks like he's just moving around very quickly here, just trying to swerving around, almost nearly losing control several times here. We'll try and get a view inside to see if there's anything else in the cab of the truck here that he may be wrestling with, but very erratic, all over the roadway here through the city of Pomona here. Still northbound. Looks like we're on Mission Boulevard at this point. Driving about 70 miles an hour, blowing through red lights here. And still have one unit directly behind the silver truck here. Coming up on a busy intersection, just blowing through that intersection, swerving around that box truck. And again, this is a pursuit that's been ongoing for at least the last 20 minutes or so. We first originally heard it on the 10 freeway where he just crashed into an SUV here. Right on the corner of Mission Boulevard. Looks like he's reversing, still keeps going here. CHP still in trail. Now we're in a residential area, a little access road here that's parallel with Brea Canyon Road or it looks like he's approaching a dead end here, so we'll see what happens. And he's going to go through the fence. He's going to up on the curb. He's going to cut around here. CHP letting him go by. So here he is again on the move. And we'll try and see if we can get that street here for you. Looks like Brea Canyon Road, which is parallel with Mission Boulevard here. Let's see if he makes it back out to the boulevard. No, he's going to continue through. And it looks like there's a door. Ooh. Well, needless to say, it would appear that he did throw a dog from the vehicle here on the driver's side. So there's hopefully that dog is going to be okay. But earlier we did see him wrestling around with something within the cab of that truck. It did appear to be some sort of animal, and we're hearing now that it is indeed a dog that fell out or was thrown out of this truck. You can see a little bit of front end damage there where he collided with that white SUV. Now continuing through a residential area with at least one unit directly behind the pickup truck and the air unit still above. We'll try and get a view out the window to see if there's any other CHP units that are in close proximity, or if they're going to request any PD or sheriff to assist with this pursuit now that he's in a residential area. You can see another black and white and another that's also in trail. I'm not entirely sure which agency that is. It would appear that they are PD vehicles from another agency other than the CHP. And he's slowing down a little bit here through the residential area. Looks like, let's see if he will exit the car. Looks like he's opening the door. Maybe not. Okay, continuing. Making some hand gestures. Let's see, he's making another turn here. So we're just listening to the radio traffic as well with the CHP and the other black and white units that are directly behind this pickup truck. All right, still continuing through the residential area. It looked like that, he was ready to get out of the vehicle, but then immediately closed the driver door and continued going here. Still in the Pomona area. We're not sure if he's familiar with this area or not. We'll see if he circles back around to that same street. He is going in that general direction once again. And let's see if he makes another turn. No, he's going to go through. So still staying in the same residential area, just not on the street where he was planning to possibly exit the pickup truck just a few minutes ago. Looked like we had a couple of units on the street corner there. I'm not entirely sure if they threw out a spike strip. It was a little difficult to see whether or not they attempted to throw out a spike strip to slow him down. But he is picking up some speed here, about 40 miles an hour through the residential area. So hopefully we don't see any pedestrians out on the roadway. Okay, now back out on Mission Boulevard, southbound now. Let's see if he makes his way back towards the freeway where he exited just a short while ago. And stand by 1 second here. Okay, so we got one CHP that's directly behind. We got at least two units of the CHP directly behind this pickup as he's making his way down Mission Boulevard back towards the 60. And we'll find out here in just a moment whether or not he decides to get back onto the freeway or not. And he's going to make another turn here on Phillips Drive from Mission Boulevard. And we're not seeing as erratic driving as we did earlier. Again, he did have an animal that was in the pickup truck that did either fall or was thrown from the truck. Hopefully that animal's okay.
All right, we lost our signal. We just lost our signal. Now we have it back. Let's go back to Rich. All right, this is a pursuit taking place in Pomona. You see the silver pickup truck. A suspect wanted for vandalism, apparently spray painting some graffiti somewhere. Again, this taking place in Pomona, and this driver, we believe at one point he actually threw an animal outside of the car, and he's been racing on residential streets and commercial streets, and this guy's totally out of control. Yeah,
this started around 1:30, according to officials around the 10 freeway. He's been in Diamond Bar and Pomona. Again, as Glenn mentioned, wanted for vandalism, possibly graffiti. Ooh. And he just had a head-on collision. He just literally with
this red car on the overpass of the, I believe that's the, let's see here. It's going to be the overpass here of the freeway. CHP is now taking cover behind the car with guns drawn. We'll widen out here just to be safe, make sure we don't show anything that's not appropriate here as they work to take this driver into custody. But just moments ago, driving on the wrong way against traffic and slamming into that red car. Hopefully the driver or the occupants of that car are going to be okay. Looks like the officers are checking up. Looks like we're seeing somebody move there. An airbag was deployed, so hopefully that driver will be okay. The suspect is still inside the vehicle there. Looks like he might be slumped over. We're not sure if he's conscious or not, but it was a very violent crash that just happened moments ago here. You can see all the PD and CHP black and whites converging on this crash here. Let's see, get rid of this. Okay, so it looks like they did take out the driver of the red car walking away. So that's a sigh of relief there. Again, the suspect that was driving in that silver pickup appears to be slumped over in the front seat there. They're waiting to make an approach. I'm sure they're making commands here to see if they can get the attention of the suspect, but still unknown. We don't know if he's even conscious and able to hear commands from the officers. So it's just a matter of time before they make an approach here. We haven't heard whether or not they believe this person to be armed or not. The original want, as far as we know, is vandalism, aside from the fact that he was driving wildly on the freeway and surface streets, and then at one point either let a dog out of the car or threw an animal out of the car. We're waiting to hear an update on whether or not that dog will be okay. But to give you an idea of where we are, we're on Mission Boulevard, the overpass of the, let's see here, this is the 71 freeway. So 71 and Mission Boulevard is where we are right now. Again, officers still waiting to make an approach to the vehicle. The suspect appeared to be slouched over in the front seat of that car just after that violent crash. Good news is they were able to take the driver out of the red car, and that driver appeared to just be walking away, so in pretty decent shape. The fire department, I would imagine, is en route to evaluate him. It looks like we have some movement here from the suspect, so he is sitting up, and he's got the windows still up, but you can see that PD and CHP are making commands here, trying to get him to come out on his own here. Let's see if we can get any markers here on who the PD is. I believe it said Rialto Police Department, as well as the CHP here, just above the 71 at Mission Boulevard.
That this suspect hit during this pursuit. We saw him head on with another SUV or another vehicle about 2 miles prior to this. Erratic behavior from the beginning, high speeds, running through red lights, swerving back and forth, allegedly possibly throwing this dog out of the vehicle as well. So his mental state is one thing that they always have to take into consideration, especially when they get this close to him, because he could be armed.
Indeed, yeah. It's still not known whether or not this guy had any sort of weapons within the vehicle. We're not sure just yet on whether this pickup even belongs to this person. Again, this was a lengthy pursuit that we heard originally on the 10 freeway, made its way down the 15 to the 60 before exiting here in Pomona, and that's where we sit now, just above the 71 at Mission Boulevard. We got at least two agencies here. Let's see, the CHP, looks like maybe Rialto PD as well as Fontana PD that are here with guns drawn and some ballistic shields here, just trying to get this driver to come out on his own. You can see one of those cars does have a canine, so we'll see if that canine goes to work here shortly. But for now, it looks like the driver, the suspect that was involved in that crash, is moving and sitting up in the driver's seat here. So we'll just await and see what the authorities decide to do here, if they're going to wait this out, if they're going to need to bring in any sort of tactical teams, or if they're going to make an approach on their own.
Well, time is obviously on the side of law enforcement in this case. How long do you think they'll wait out until they decide to deploy the canine?
Yeah, well, that's unknown, right? So we don't know if they'll decide to use the canine altogether, but they certainly are trying to communicate with him. He's got the windows up. We don't know if there's a language barrier or he's just, being stubborn and he's not willing to come out of the truck on his own. So we'll just sit here and wait and see. Clearly he's injured here. It looked like maybe a little bit of blood on the forehead. You can see the airbag that had deployed. So and we all witnessed how violent that crash is. So, we don't know how badly injured the suspect is, if he's even able to get out of the vehicle. But, for now, they are talking to him through a window, and we'll wait and see if they request any additional resources, a tactical team or what have you. So we're listening to the radio traffic here. Most of the communication that's happening is all between them, since they're all in close proximity here. And again, there's a number of different agencies here. We believe we have Rialto, Fontana, and CHP that are all here converged and surrounding this silver pickup here. Again, just above the 71 freeway and Mission Boulevard in Pomona.
Rich, we saw a couple of officers walking the other driver away across the street. Is he still on scene, or has possibly been taken to the hospital to be checked out? Because that was a pretty violent crash, and you know, he could have some internal injuries even though he walked away.
Indeed, yeah, it was a good sight when we saw him walking out of that red car on his own. I don't see him any longer. They may have put him in a cruiser here, but we did not see any sort of rescue ambulance or fire engines that are arriving here on the scene to give any sort of medical aid. So I believe that he is sitting in a cruiser for now. I would imagine at some point they'll have to get a statement from him, and then we'll await and see if the fire department does arrive to give any sort of medical treatment. Now, once they can get the suspect out, they will likely evaluate him as well. It's just a matter of time before they can get him out of this truck.
Yeah, it's really interesting, and I'm wondering if you know the protocol of like why there's not an ambulance or someone there that can check out the guy that was in the red vehicle, and then once they get this guy, he probably will need some medical attention as well.
Yeah, indeed. You know, I didn't hear the call myself, but I would imagine they've already made a call to the fire department. It's just a matter of them making it here to the scene. Now, oftentimes, depending on the situation, they may need to hold out the fire department, about a block out until they feel like, the situation is contained and it's safe for firefighters to, basically be this close to the location. It looks like that is the driver of the red vehicle, so it looks like he's being escorted here by authorities. He's holding his hip there. I'm not sure if he's injured, but, it was a pretty bad crash. So he'll definitely be looked at. But, as I was just saying, depending on the situation, they'll probably take him down here to the corner where they will meet with the firefighters once they can get here. And he'll be evaluated. And then once they can get the suspect out, then they can move in a little closer.
It's so frustrating, these pursuits, because it's typically our biggest fear is that these suspects will hit an innocent driver or a pedestrian. And in this case, this vehicle hit two along the way. And this last one, just such a heavy, and he crossed over. It was almost either intentionally moving over there or if something happened and he stopped looking, and he crossed the line and hit that car head on.
Yeah, there's on and off ramps here for the 71 freeway, so I'm not entirely sure if he was just trying to veer over so he can, sneak onto the freeway at the last second, and that's when he collided. But we are just above the 71 freeway here at Mission Boulevard. Yeah,
it definitely looked like that may have been what he was trying to do, because he was going in the direction where there was an on-ramp there to the 71 freeway, but of course, as you can see it right there, but he wasn't paying attention to the fact there was a red vehicle coming right at him, and he just crossed over, and it was a nasty head-on collision. I mean, that's ridiculous.
The guy in that red vehicle is so lucky to be walking around. I mean, it's just terrifying to see that. Again, talking about this car was an innocent driver coming in the same direction. We also talked just while we're sitting here waiting, and I think about it often when I see a pursuit or we cover these pursuits, is that if something like this is happening near you or behind you, or you're aware of it, to not intervene, right? Can you talk a little bit about that, just to remind our viewers what officers typically want us to do?
Lou, I'm sorry, can you repeat the question? I was just talking with David, our Sky 5 pilot, who's watching this outside his window, and he'll alert us. He's just letting us know now that fire department is now arriving here at the location. And again, they're trying to keep the firefighters safe as well. So they're going to kind of guide them in a spot where they are safe and away from any sort of crossfire. And again, we don't know if the suspect has any sort of weapons inside that truck. But you can see they have closed the overpass here at Mission Boulevard and the 71 freeway. And, so that fire engine and any other responding firefighters will make their way to that driver, the driver of that red car that the suspect slammed into just moments ago.
All right, if you're just joining us live, you saw it right here on the KTLA 5 News at 1. This out-of-control silver pickup truck, the driver apparently wanted for vandalism. We understand it was graffiti. if he could have given himself up, it would have saved a lot of people a lot of headaches, but instead he decided to make a run for it, driving very dangerous. And you saw what happened, how it ended here in Pomona. As Lou pointed out a moment ago, he hit an SUV or a van a little bit earlier, turning onto a street, just kind of tapped the front end and kept going. And then just moments later, he head-on collision with this red vehicle. And it looks like that driver will probably be okay. We saw law enforcement walking him down the sidewalk. After getting him out of the car, he'll be attended to by the fire department, maybe taken to the hospital to be checked out. Meantime, the driver, who's causing all the problems and wreaking havoc, continues to sit behind the steering wheel and refuses to come out of the vehicle. Matter of fact, we don't even know if maybe he's even capable of coming out of the vehicle, because that was a pretty nasty collision.
The windshield wipers have come on and off.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's stuck or if that's something he's doing intentionally. Really unfortunate situation as well for animal lovers out there. This guy had a dog that we are assuming was a dog that was in this vehicle, and the dog either jumped from the car or was thrown from the driver's side window on a residential street. So hopefully we'll get some reports to see if that animal is okay. And then he had been on the 10. He was in Diamond Bar and Pomona. And when we jumped on this, Rich Prickett made it very clear that there was so much erratic behavior in terms of the driving, high speeds, running through red lights, also jerking the steering wheel a lot, just very agitated. So his mental state probably not really great. But a head-on collision like that, I mean, a lesser head-on collision has killed people before. That head-on collision, just very violent. And as we've mentioned, the driver in the red vehicle was able to walk away. The current suspect right now, though, with that airbag deployed inside of that truck, and more officers have started to show up, right, Rich?
Indeed, yeah. Now, correction on who is here that we can see. We have Pomona PD that's here. We have Rialto PD. So that's possibly where this and CHP here as well, since this vehicle was traveling on the 10 freeway. We also have a California Highway Patrol helicopter that's up above, who had relieved the San Bernardino Sheriff's Department. I believe we had Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department helicopter that was overhead as well. So we've transitioned from a number of different.
Our signal with Rich continues to cut in and out. Unsure what's going on there, but he was talking about which departments are on scene, but we also saw there's also a canine unit on scene as well. So that'll be interesting there on your far right, just behind the accident there. So there are dogs on the scene. It'll be interesting to see if they deploy those animals.
And as you can see, of course, the vehicle not capable of being driven away at this point, but that vehicle's at this point is completely surrounded. He might as well just give up. I mean, it's just inevitable. That's what's going to happen.
Well, we've also seen where they don't give up for hours and hours and they sit in there. But, they do have the robotics that they could pull up to the car. They also have SWAT that could come out eventually if it gets too lengthy of a time. But also when those canines somehow get in there, just interesting, the canine wouldn't be able to get in with the door, so they would have to approach. But again, that's the scary part here, is that we don't know if this suspect is armed. And unfortunately, Rich is not connected with us here. This has been a little spotty. This started around 1:30. We're being told near the 10 freeway. He headed on to residential streets in Diamond Bar and Pomona. Erratic driving, likely threw a dog from the front seat, the driver's side. And as we're looking at these live images here, we had been discussing the firefighters and ambulance. The EMS looks like they've now arrived, but the officers are going to try to keep them at a safe distance, just to check out to make sure that everything's okay. They'll probably park and then walk over.
Yeah, they actually took the driver of the other vehicle. They actually took him in the other direction. So somehow you're gonna have to get an ambulance on the other side to check him out. But now it's just a waiting game, and I'd like to say the hard part's over. At least you can't even really say the most dangerous part's over. As crazy as he was driving, because the fact that as erratic as he was driving, and there's the canine, so they may be getting ready to deploy
That is a large dog.
the dog. Yeah.
Yeah, again, a lot of times, and Rich, you can speak to this as well, the mental state of these suspects. Officers always take that into consideration, especially at the end of the pursuit. Like Glenn mentioned, sometimes this is the most dangerous time, right?
Absolutely. You know, they can't see what's in the vehicle. You know, this, as far as this driver is concerned, he's not even communicating back. It looks, we haven't seen him move for several minutes now, so we're not, okay, so they fired what appears to be a non-lethal round into the windshield so that they could break the window, so they could not only get his attention or see if he's even conscious, but an easier way for them to communicate. You can see they're using the canine here to show that they mean business and that he needs to come out on his own, or they will likely send that canine. I say that, but I guess I will say that I have seen them send a canine through a window of a car and pull out a suspect. They're fully capable of doing that. But it looks like this officer, or this suspect, doesn't want anything to do with that dog.
They are so close to him, Rich. The vicinity of that,
They
like,
are.
and like if he has a gun, like he could take out 4 people right now.
Well, okay, so he's opening the door here now. You can see he's bleeding from the head, so that happened likely during the collision with that red vehicle here. And officers still making commands. You can see that dog is barking. You know, let him know, hey, get out, or I'm going to get you out myself. And so it looks like he's slowly trying to make his way out. We saw that airbag that was deployed. We don't know if there's any other damage in the cab of that truck that's preventing him from getting out, or if he has any sort of leg injuries or anything like that. But it looks like he has shown both hands here, showing, letting the officers know that he's not holding anything in his hands, but now he brings him back down. So we'll push in here just for a moment here. Officers going to make an approach,
here we go.
And they will likely pull him out from the cab of the truck here. Okay. They're going to hold the canine back as officers have now made it to the driver's side door, and they'll try and pull him out. But again, we don't know if he's injured, if he was even able to get out on his own, or if he was able to, or if he was pinned in any way. But it looks like they are now getting him out one way or another.
Well, even if he's injured, it looks like he's still resisting.
Yeah, well, he's not quick to get on his feet, that's for sure. So they put the cuffs on him. They'll take him down to one of these rescue ambulances that are here at the location. They will evaluate him and you know, take him away on in one of these squad cars. It's just a matter of which agency will get him first. But there's CHP here, as well as Rialto PD, where we believe this pursuit may have originated, as well as Pomona PD, which is where we are now on Mission Boulevard, just above the 71. But you can see the suspect, you know, bleeding from the head here after that crash. And it looks like they're going to turn him on his side, and they're going to get him basically secured so that the fire department can safely make their way onto the scene here and give this guy the treatment that he needs for now, but he will shortly be off to jail.
Well, the good news is they've got him out of the vehicle. Again, the driver of this silver pickup truck wreaking havoc, wanted for, you know, just vandalism. Apparently he sprayed some graffiti somewhere and then took off and was chased all over the place in the Pomona area. And at one point, we believe we saw him throw a dog out a window. No explanation for that. As Lou said, he was jerking the steering wheel. I thought at one point maybe he was like fighting with somebody that said, let's stop this. But maybe it was just something to do with the animal. And
or his mental state.
Yeah, and then he did hit the front end of a van, a white van. We saw him turning on a street. Didn't hit it that hard. Didn't look like there was a lot of damage. But then a few moments later, he slammed head on into this the red car that's also down there. We saw that driver taken out of the car. Luckily, he walked away, now being checked out by medical personnel, maybe being taken to the hospital. And now we've got this agitated suspect. Officers finally pulling him out of the pickup truck, but it looks like he's still resisting.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, we also saw that bed from the ambulance. They'll probably roll that over and somehow get him up into that and get him the treatment that he needs. And Rich Prickett, thank you for bringing this to us, and we appreciate you sticking around. We are going to send you back to Off the Clock right now, but we will be back at 3 p.m. We hope you can join us then.